So yesterday we worked on this individually. I gave some help. I didn't give a whole ton of help. And the idea behind it was we're comparing fractions was the skill. But the scenario was there's a 4th grade class and they went to some different field trips in small groups. We had 4 students that went to the forest preserve and each circle represents a pizza. We had 5 students go to the farmer's cornfield and they got to share 4 pizzas. 8 students went to the wild meadow and they got to share 7 pizzas. And over here, the students that went to Riverside, 5 of them shared 3 pizzas, okay? So what I want to do first is I want to go through and I want to break up these circles into the fractions that they should be. Now, before I do that, it's probably a great idea for me to try and calibrate to make this look as good as I can. Because we all know how well this works. We might be okay based on where that is. Okay, so even though they're all veggie pizzas, there's different ways that you could have split this up, okay? But I think the easiest way when you're doing something like this and to make sure everybody gets the same amount, so I'm gonna model on this first one, and then I'm gonna probably call on some of you to tell me what you did, but I'm gonna model here. I think probably the easiest way to do this is to split each of the things that you have into the number of people that are sharing it. People or things that are sharing it. Make sense? And I think a lot of you did that. So like here, each pizza is going to get cut into 4 pieces. Okay? And then what I do is, again, you could have gone like 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, and it would still work out. I tend to like to do it this way, and I don't know why. I just think that it keeps me from making mistakes if I number each one. So I know that person 1 is getting this slice, and this slice. How many slices are they getting? 3, 2, 1, class.
3.
Okay, so then over here, I would have written my fraction. They're getting 3. How many pieces are in a whole pizza?
4.
And I know what I was saying, some of you, I think you're like, well, they're only getting 1 piece from each pizza. How are they getting 3/4? Well, if you took this piece, and this piece, now this is an extra circle, right? But it's essentially like you're getting that much, aren't you? Right? You're missing 1 piece of pizza. That to me is the easiest and simplest way to make sure that you don't make a mistake when you're trying to figure out what fraction each person gets. So for farmer's cornfield, what did you need to do for farmer's cornfield? Adam, what would you do for farmer's cornfield?
I split them up, all of them up into fifths.
Okay, and we know that fifths kind of look like stars. Here's that fun spot on the smartboard, but good enough. Good enough. Good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It takes a little bit of time to do that. Okay, how many? Yeah, Chase, what's up?
Did you take the star and throw a little head on top? What was the first one?
Yep, remember when I said that you can kind of think of it like a person too? When I showed you guys how to draw it, I stood like this. Instead, if you took my head and drew a line up, it would kind of look like fifths. That was another way. Then I decided star was probably better. Okay. How many pieces do they get? Does each person get? So you'd count how many pieces number 1 gets. Class, 3, 2, 1, how many?
4.
Okay. How many total pieces in just, see now this is where I think you guys don't do this. I think you guys are doing a really good job of this. But classes in the past would go, there's 20 pieces, so it's 4/20ths. Well, that's how many pieces there would be in 4 whole pizzas, right? We're just talking about one pizza. How much out of one pizza could they get? They can get 4. How many pieces are there in one piece of pizza?
5.
So they're getting 4/5 of one pizza. Now, if we were asking, if the question said, how many slices are there, or what fraction of the slices do they get? Then it would be 4/20ths, right?
Yeah.
But that's a different question. We're asking how much of one pizza do they get? Make sense?
Yeah.
Because the pieces are going to be different. The only way to compare them here is by the slices are different, but the pizzas are the same. So before we move on here, I'm going to write these down over on the board. I'm going to erase our peanut butter jelly. And I left my erasing rag in the back. That's awesome. So we have at Forest Preserve, we have 3/4. At Farmer's Cornfield, they're getting 4/5. How are we doing?
Good.
Is this making sense to everybody so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Very good. Looking at down here now, we went to Wild Meadow, and I can't get them all on the board unless I get Wild Meadow out of there. How many people went to Wild Meadow?
7, 8.
8. Okay. So what do I need to do with these circles? First step, what do I need to do with these circles, Falcon? Chop them all into 8s. Here I go. Chop, chop. Chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop. You. Chop, 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 chop. Chop, 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 chop.
Looks like a green spider.
Yeah.
Chop,
It's actually not that bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible. Okay. So now I have to number it, right? In an attempt to make this go a little quicker, I'm just going to do person 1, okay? Person 1 gets this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, right? And person 2, you guys get that,
Yeah.
like in a normal circumstance, if I'm doing this, I would go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for all of them, right?
Yes.
But I'm trying to speed this up, so we're only going to talk about person 1. How many slices does person 1 get? 3, 2, 1, class.
7.
How many pieces are in each za?
8.
Because we all know that all the cool kids call pizza za. So the people at, what was this one?
Wild Meadow.
Everyone at Wild Meadow gets 7/8 of a za. Right, Danielle? Okay, so now this last one is at Riverside. I'm going to write that down before I forget. River. I'm just going to put for abbreviation. How many kids went to Riverside?
5.
Okay, so what do I need to split the zas into? 5/5. We already know how to do that.
Chop it.
Chop, 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 chop. Okay, in the spirit of speeding this up, again, I'm only going to number for number 1. But we all know that I can go all the way around, right? How many pieces of za does person 1 get? 3, 2, 1, class.
3.
Out of how many pieces in one za?
5.
Okay, so that fraction is 3/5. Can everybody on the Zoom see what I got over here on the whiteboard?
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind
Excellent.
of dark.
With a partner, So now, oh boy.
Well, we have even.
Yeah, I know. We've got Ethan.
Ethan.
We're gonna go. Rajan and Braden have been working fantastic together, so I'm gonna keep that group. Would you guys agree it's been going pretty well? That I think you guys have been a really good team. Elizabeth, you're gonna go with Porter back there. Or not Porter, Parker. Sorry, you're gonna go with Parker. Porter with Eva. Oh boy, this doesn't work real well. Okay, Braxton with Porter. Eva with, stay with Gavin. Danielle, you're going with Hadley. Blake, you're gonna have to get up and go talk to Macy. I don't like that either. Blake, you're going with Hadley. Danielle, you're going to go with Chase. Keep messing this up. Blake with Hadley. Macy with Chase. Are you sure we have an even number?
Yeah, we have 14.
Yeah, Mackenzie's left over.
Who doesn't have a partner then?
Danielle. I can be with them. So
Danielle, who did I say you're with?
When
You said me and Chase, and then you said.
All right, we're gonna try this one more time. This is terrible. This is making for terrible internet. Braden and Rajan, go stand by your partner so that you're ready to talk. I said Elizabeth and PCAT, go stand. Meow. That's how you do that one. Okay, then it's Danielle and Mackenzie then, right?
Yes.
That's who it would be. Okay, I forgot that I put Braxton with Porter. Okay, so one of these can be eliminated right away. One of these can clearly be eliminated because it is the least amount of pizza that you could get. Figure out which one it is and how you know. So it's not just Forest Preserve or Farmer's Cornfield or Wild Meadow. It's which one and why. You have to be able to defend your answer. Everyone understand? Okay, I'm going to give you about a minute. Go.
I know.
One piece, I'm sorry. So
Winnie.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2, eyes on you.
Rajan, which one can we eliminate right away and why? Which one? Okay, so Riverside, the 3/5. Why, Rajan? Okay, so we can clearly tell that it's smaller than Farmer's Cornfield, right? Because this is 3/5, this is 4/5. If I was hungry, I would rather have 4/5 of a pizza than 3/5, right? 4/5 is more than 3/5. Anybody have a different idea that they think they want to share on why you could eliminate it right away? Mackenzie, I'm interested to hear.
because if you think it like 5 minus 3, you get 2, and you have 2 pieces left, and you want 1 piece left.
So this is missing. She looked at it from this standpoint, and Rajan is absolutely correct. Rajan, your logic was flawless. That if 3/5 is smaller than 4/5, Riverside is the smallest. But you looked at it from a different way. You said this is missing 2 pieces. This is missing
1 piece.
1 piece. This is missing
1 piece.
1. This one is also missing
1.
1.
Both of those logical reasons make sense to me. Albeit, here's an example where you could get a little bit, watch this. Watch it. I want you to think about this one for a second. What if I had this? That's probably not on the board, is it? Okay. So let's say that we had this. Hopefully that's on the board. Or 95 hundredths or 9/10. This is missing 5 pieces. This is missing 1 piece. You guys see how it's not always, the number missing isn't always the indicator. Because check, I'm going to put this in perspective for you. If we were talking about money, if you had 95 pennies out of 100 versus 9 dimes out of 10, which one would you rather have? 95 pennies or 9 dimes?
95.
And this one's missing 1 though. Well, it's missing a bigger piece, right? This 1 piece is bigger than these 5 pieces. So this isn't always the end all be all, but in this case, it's a pretty good indicator. In this case, it does work. So does number of pieces work all the time?
No.
It will work some of the time, right? That's what I was trying to show you there. So not Riverside. Did anybody have Riverside? Oh, thank goodness. No one had Riverside, or they're too scared to tell me they had Riverside. I'm not sure which. So now, what this comes down to is all the other ones are missing 1 piece. We want to know which one gets the most. So the question becomes, which is missing the smallest piece? So if you think about it, we talked yesterday and we said the bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. Or the smaller the denominator, I got tongue tied there, the bigger the pieces. So which one is going to be missing? This one was the smallest. So this is like the 4th most pizza you could get, right? Which one is the next smallest amount? Go ahead and talk with your partner. Which one is the next smallest and why?
If there was one tiny piece left, they wouldn't want pieces because you want to have one. Yeah,
1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2, eyes on you.
Blake, which one's the next smallest or the 3rd one?
The farmer's cornfield.
Okay, farmer's cornfield. You said 4/5. Okay, well, let's think about this, Blake. I'm going to draw 5ths. Here's 5ths. Ready? And here's 3/4. I'll draw all of these. Which one's the next smallest, Blake?
3/4.
Okay, this one's going to be the next smallest, the one that we know it can't be. It's the 3rd biggest piece. Because, Blake, smaller the denominator, the bigger the piece. So even though this is missing 1 piece, it's a bigger piece than 4/5 because the bigger the denominator, the smaller the pieces. So this one's missing a smaller piece. Okay, the moment of truth. Talk with your partner. Which place, if you were super hungry and you liked veggie pizza, which place has the most, would you get the most pizza at? Thanks, buddy.
This would be
Thanks, buddy.
and I would be really cool. And I would,
1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2, eyes on you.
Hey, Maddie,
I think it's
Wild Meadow or Farmer's Cornfield, which one do you get the most at and why?
Wild Meadow.
Very good. How many of you had Wild Meadow? Okay, it looks like almost everybody, or at least everyone is paying attention.
Meh.
Good, good. Okay, why is it Wild Meadow, Maddie?
Because if eighths are smaller, so if you only have one missing, then that would mostly be a lot of them would I don't really know how to explain it.
Okay,
Well.
I think you're actually really, really close, Maddie. I think that what you're saying is eighths are smaller than fifths, yes?
Yeah.
So if you're missing 1/8, that would be missing less pizza than if you were missing 1/5.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Okay. How are we feeling on fractions? Fist to 5. Again, for my people here, I guess it's just a review. I think you guys are starting to get fist to 5. 5 is I could teach this to someone else. 4 is I can do this on my own and I'll get it right almost all the time. 3 is I can do this by myself, but I might need a little help every once in a while. 2 is I need a lot of help. 1 is I don't know how to do this. I'm really confused. And 0 is I thought we were doing writing. You're not even in the right subject. Where are we at? Okay, as I look around, I'm seeing a lot of 4s, some 4 5s. That's good. I will say this, I think in my memory, now this is only like the 3rd or 4th year that we've been doing this math curriculum. So maybe it has something to do with maybe I'm just better at teaching it or I'm getting better at it every year. But I will say I think that you guys have a better grasp of how to use or how to do fractions than a lot of groups that I've taught throughout my years. I think you guys are doing a really good job with fractions. And that's good because fractions are really hard. And I'm actually kind of excited for January to roll around to see what you guys can do when you take your second STAR test, because fractions were one of our low areas. And now you guys are killing it on fractions. Yeah.
Our Mrs. Gaffney and Mrs. Pete really did teach us a lot about fractions.
That's awesome.
Well, Mrs. Gaffney. Well, yeah, Mrs. Gaffney.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad she did. I mean, and I'm sure, whatever it said to teach in the book, Miss Gaffney's a fantastic math teacher, one of the best. So, but that was one of your lower areas when we looked at STAR test results, when I looked at them at conferences with parents, for everyone, not just 1 or 2 of you, for all of you. And you guys are doing really great on these. So I'm really proud of you on that. Okay, in your math journals, we're gonna look at page 82. I'll come around after the Zoom and we'll hold on to this sheet because we're gonna put it in your stapled paper bin. But I want to go over math boxes first. Now remember, when I go over math boxes, I'm trying to give you hints. I'm trying to help you get to that next or be able to understand. So on this one, guys, we found equivalent fractions. We've been working on this. So I'm going to help you do one. I'm going to give each of you one. But when it says write two, if I'm giving you one, how many are you going to need then?
One.
You're doing two on your own. So how many total will we need? Three. So everyone listen right now, because I have everybody in my class, whether you're on Zoom or you're here, you need to listen. You're going to, instead of doing two, you're going to do three, because I'm going to give you an example for each of them. Then you're going to do two on your own, okay? The easiest way to do this is to multiply. And when you multiply a fraction, whatever you do to the
Denominator.
okay, you guys went denominator. Whatever you do to the denominator, you also do to the
Numerator.
but conversely, it could also be whatever you do to the numerator, you do to the okay, so watch, I'm gonna do the easiest one. So you guys have to do a hard one. I'm just gonna take it times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. You could do 3. And you could do 4 instead of 2. Here, watch, I'm going to do it for this one too. 1 times 2 is 2. 4 times 2 is. You could take 1/4 times 3. You could take it times 10. You could take it times anything, but whatever you do to the numerator, you have to do to the. Okay.
Numerator.
So I don't think this one's hard. I don't. I think you're more than capable of doing it. And I just got done telling the world, now everyone will be able to see this. I just got done telling the world how good you are at fractions. I think you can do this. All right, circle the shapes that have at least one pair of parallel sides. So that means all it needs to do is have one set of sides or line segments that are parallel. Parallel is in your notebook. If you need to look back, I don't want to give it away because if I show you what parallel is right now, then kind of defeats the purpose, right? If you're really confused, you can always go get an SRB, student resource book, and take a look. Blake, what's your question?
If there's more than one,
At least one. So what if it has 2 pair?
then what I'm asking is like, can you, if there's
What I'm asking you is if it says at least one, if it has 2, does it have at least one?
Yes.
So if it has 2, should you circle it?
Yes.
There you go. You answered your own question by answering my question. Did I answer your question?
What I was wondering was say it has one pair and then it has another pair. What if there's 2 that have that? Can you do both of them?
You're circling the whole shape, buddy.
Yeah, can you circle 2 shapes if there are 2 parallel?
Yeah, you circle all that apply, buddy.
Oh.
If they have a parallel side, like this is a triangle and it doesn't have any parallel sides, I wouldn't circle it. But if I have an octagon, this is parallel to this is parallel to that, this is parallel to that. Now everyone knows what parallel is because I had to do this for you. This has like 8 parallel or 4 parallel sides, 4 pairs. So I'd circle that. You answered your question when I said if it has more than one pair, do you circle it? Yes. Okay. On number 3, we've done this one before. I like to tell you to work in reverse. I do my number model first. Now, are you going to have your answer right away?
No.
No. But first, let's read this. Tay has a box of 100. I'm going to make it a little bigger so people at home should be able to follow along anyway. Tay has a box of 1,000 nails to build his deck. He used 217 on the first day, 423 nails on day 2, and 248 nails on day 3. How many nails are left in the box? I like to do this one first because then I can use that to come up with the numbers for my estimate. So we know that when we are doing this, the last step is actually the first one you write down, which is the 1,000 minus parentheses 217 plus 423 plus
248.
and that's going to equal something eventually, right? When I'm doing my estimate, should I redo my 1,000?
No.
So leave that. It's pretty friendly. Minus, instead of 217, what could you maybe change that to? Elizabeth, what would you change 217 to?
Probably just 200.
Okay, you could. You could definitely do that. Some of you might have rounded it to the nearest 10. If you rounded it to the nearest 10, what would you round it to?
210.
Probably 220. Would 210 be terrible though?
No.
No, it's okay. Stay close. The idea here is stay close, but make it easier. Instead of 423, if you were rounding to the nearest 100, you'd go down to 400. If you rounded to the nearest 10, you might do 420. This one, instead of being 248, I'd probably make that one,
250.
I'd probably make it 250. These ones I could understand you dropping them to the nearest 100. This one I'd probably just make 50. You guys understand how to do this? I'm trying to, my goal is to someday be able to assign you a problem like this and be able to go, okay, do your number model first. Oh, I forgot to put my parenthesis here. My goal someday is to be able to assign a problem like this to you and say, okay, remember, do your number model, then use that to get your estimate. Do your estimate first and then find your answer. And be able to go, you guys got this? And everybody go, got it. I know what to do. And not have to write it all out. That's my goal someday. Because none of this math is too difficult for you. You're able to do the adding. You're able to do the subtracting. I think it's just the quantity of work, that it takes time, that is daunting. Okay, questions? Moving on, next box. They want you to write your expanded form like this. So I'm going to do the first one with you. You guys ready? Okay, I have a 3. So they've given you this equal part. You see that? So I don't have to do that part, but I am going to write a 3. Ooh, that's not where I want it to be. Some create problems. There you go. Ignore that little thing on the top. Now I put a bracket. And that's in the thousands. Then I put my next bracket there. Oh, that was more difficult than it looked. Plus 2 in the hundreds. Plus, no, not an 8. 6 in the
10 place.
I was trying to avoid having to go to this line. Plus 9 in the
1 place.
yeah, okay. You guys understand how to do this? What if there's a 0? Do you have to do it? No. Yep, it's like on this one you go do the 2, then instead of putting the 0, you just go right to the 6. Questions, comments, or concerns? Excellent. I think we're doing great. Down here, I've taught you how to do these. Both of these are to 1. How do you find your denominator for these? It's been a couple days. It's been like a week. Brayden, how do you find your denominator? Count the jumps, right? 1,
2, 3, 4.
There's your denominator. Then you number the numerators, right? All right. You guys know how to do these?
Yeah.
All right. Ready, set, work.